With the release of Batman Nightfall, I wanted to go over some of the comic book history that led up to what happened to Batman and why Bane was able to break the bat. The best place to start our story is here at the last Arkham. This is where Batman's mental health starts to take a deep dive. Our story begins with Jeremiah Arkham taking over Arkham Asylum, and as his first order of business, he decides to move all of the inmates to a new facility, a more secure facility. The book goes on to show us how Jeremiah views the criminally insane as these cold-hearted killers, not the criminally insane that need rehabilitation. We are also introduced to one of our main antagonists, Mr. Zsasz. You may recognize him from the Arkham Asylum video games. But from here, we segue to Robin patrolling the city, and we get our first hint at Jeremiah Arkham's next big villain from Nightwing's dialogue here to Tim. That inmate being none other than Batman himself, accused of murder and a prisoner in Arkham Asylum, the very place that he places all his own enemies. In Jeremiah's eyes, Batman is no different from any of the other criminally insane housed in Arkham Asylum, so he treats him just the same. But Batman is hell-bent on proving his innocence and his own sanity, but it might cost him the very thing that he's trying to prove. After the orderlies subdue Batman, they offer to remove his mask to Jeremiah, but Jeremiah wants Batman to remove the mask himself when he is, as he says, cured one day. Continue with Batman recounting what happened the night before. He was in a cemetery where he discovered a little girl and brought her back home to her parents, where he discovered they were murdered, her entire family, just like him. Batman then contacts Commissioner Gordon and tells him what happened and how the crime reminds him of Victor Zsasz. So the two of them travel to Arkham Asylum to meet Jeremiah Arkham and see if Zsasz is as secure as Jeremiah claims his inmates are. Unconvinced, Batman demands to see Zsasz's body. For every life that Zsasz takes, he cuts into himself another tally to mark up the soul that he just took. But unable to see any fresh wounds, Zsasz taunts Batman, setting him off into a rage. But on the next page, we see after Batman leaves, Zsasz shows off his fresh new marks on the bottom of his foot. Gordon comments on how pushy Batman is tonight, but Batman tells him to drop it. They get a call over the radio for another murder. While at the crime scene, Batman overhears one of the lieutenants laughing about the murder. This sends him into a rage. Batman lunges on to Lieutenant Kitch, getting pulled off by two officers, but he hits them off, and he begins to pummel him. Gordon has to take him down with his pistol. He goes to check Kitch's pulse and pronounces him dead. We now cut to Batman, who's been sitting for hours, listening, waiting, prepping and planning his escape. We then cut to Tim and Nightwing, where Tim recounts what Commissioner Gordon told him and how he told Tim to stay out of this. But Nightwing, he didn't get that message, so he decides to break into Arkham himself. We pick up with Nightwing breaking into Arkham Asylum, slipping by all the guards. He's crawling through the vents when he discovers Batman, who has also escaped, is crawling in the vents. We then cut to Victor Zsasz stalking his next victim inside a phone booth. We cut back to Batman and Nightwing, where Batman explains to him that he's not trying to escape, but rather trying to find evidence to incriminate Arkham and Zsasz and see what's really going on. He also reveals to him that him and Gordon set up the whole murdering Kitch thing so he could get into Arkham himself. Nightwing accidentally trips the alarms, and Jeremiah Arkham's woken from a nightmare about Batman. The guards burst into the room. Batman lunges out, and Nightwing goes to escape. Jeremiah tells the security to search for him, but Nightwing has already slipped out. At this point, Batman decides to surrender to not only cover for Nightwing's escape, but also to cover up any suspicions from Arkham. We cut to Zsasz murdering one of the suspects Batman's suspicious of. Then
we cut to him talking to Professor Arkham, giving him suggestions about what he should do to handle his Batman problem. Arkham takes Zaz's advice and decides to humiliate Batman to break his spirit.
After being punished from the acts of last night, Batman is pushed into a room where all of his rogues are behind a glass, and he is faced with a brute. Batman attempts to talk him down, but it doesn't work, so he takes him down. All the rogues are angry that Batman won, and Batman yells to Arkham asking if this is what he wants. Out of anger, Arkham releases all of Batman's rogues against him. We pick up with all of Batman's rogues lunging at him, attempting to kill him at Arkham's commands, but Batman simultaneously takes down all of them and saves Joker for last. Arkham, stunned with what happened, he scolds Zaz for even giving him the idea. We then cut to Batman and Arkham having a conversation where Batman realizes Arkham isn't as sane as he seems to be. Arkham also tells Batman that Zaz gave him the idea for this, and Batman realizes Zaz wanted Batman in this cell. We cut to Zaz to finally see how he's been escaping into Gotham, away from Arkham. With his elite map knowledge, Zaz is able to goad Batman by banging Morse code into the room. Meanwhile, during all this, Nightwing's been searching for the missing link to incriminate Zaz. But now, more determined than ever, Batman attempts his escape on Arkham to find Zaz and take him down. He uses the aluminum lining in his cape to make it past the motion sensors. Finally past that, he discovers a room open and searches for a hidden door, which he finds. Meanwhile, Nightwing was able to find the secret tunnel, and he confronts Zaz. But Zaz, one step ahead, collapses part of the tunnel on him. Zaz goes for the killing blow, but Batman stops him. Suddenly, Commissioner Gordon appears with a warrant to search Arkham and look in Zaz's cell. Meanwhile, during the fight, Zaz seems to have gotten the upper hand, and he's going in for the killing blow on Batman. But my God of Prep tanks the fuck out of that shit! He eats that shit! And he slams Zaz into the ground. Meanwhile, Arkham is losing his mind over Zaz being gone and there being a tunnel in his asylum. But Batman comes out of the tunnel with Zaz defeated, and he makes Arkham stare into the eyes of true madness. Batman also issues a stern warning to Arkham to make sure to never let this happen again. Batman and Nightwing leave, catching up Commissioner Gordon on everything that happened. Meanwhile, Arkham sits and thinks on what Batman says, and can't even look at himself in the mirror.